everyone, it's Nina, and I'm here today with Neat and Tangled as we are kicking off day number 2 of our January release. Today we are releasing the Perfect Blend stamp set, and that's what I'm going to be using for our card today. I've got 11" by 4¼ piece of cardstock that I'm cutting down and scoring at 5½ inches to create an A2 size card base. This is what we're going to be doing our stamping on. I've got my Misty tool and my Perfect Blend stamp set. I'm going to be using a lot of the images included in the set today to create this background. Using the largest images first to do my main stamped images, then I'll go ahead and fill in with some of the smaller images. I've sped up the video because I'm sure you don't want to watch me stamp this entire thing at normal speed, so I'm just going to quickly go through this and let you see how I ended up building this background. I'm using all of the bigger images to go ahead and add in the big spaces, and then once I've got that finished, I'll fill in with the smaller images, and this will just help keep everything nice and oriented. I'm being pretty random with the placement of all these images. I had no real rhyme or reason for where I was putting things, though I did test it out on another piece of paper just to kind of get an idea of how I wanted things going, but I didn't stick to that original plan. Just kind of felt wherever I needed to place an image, that's where I put it. And just kind of was really random. It adds a really nice fun feel when you add the randomness to the card and don't have anything set perfect. So I'll just fill in a couple of these corners with these bigger images, and then I'm going to start bringing in my smaller images. The Misty tool is really great for stamping images and being able to go ahead and restamp something if you don't stamp it right the first time. I did that once or twice when I was doing this background stamping, and having that Misty was really helpful in just covering that back up so that way I got a nice clean impression. Taking a clear block here in the coffee bean image from that stamp set, I'm just going to quickly fill in some of these little teeny tiny areas with the coffee beans. The beans are so adorable, and I love how they just filled in that area so nicely. I've got a few warm gray markers and a brown Copic marker here, which I'm going to be using to add some shading to my images. Starting off at normal speed here to colors, just so I can give you an idea of how I was doing this, I just flicked in some color along the left and right side of each image, and then I'll go ahead and leave a highlight in the center just to kind of give the images a bit of roundness and dimension. But I'm not focusing on a certain area of light source, just kind of keeping everything on the left and right side of each image and leaving a highlight in the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish Copic coloring, and then when I am finished, I will come back and walk you through the rest of the card. Okay, so once we got our coloring all finished, I'm going to do some die cutting here. This is a Pretty Pink Posh die. It's a little stitched border die, and I'm going to be using this to create a sentiment strip for my card. And this is some brown cardstock, and I'm going to be running this through my Big Shot machine with this die. Take it out, and then I'm going to do my stamping on top. As you can see, I've got this powder tool and also a stamp from the stamp set. This is a really cute coordinating stamp that goes in that Perfect Blend stamp set, and there's a lot of really cute other sentiments that you can use as well. So I'm stamping this with some Versamark ink. I've already prepped it with my powder tool so that way no static electricity was hanging around. Sorry about my head, I needed to make sure I got this lined up so that way it was nice and straight. Once I got that all stamped, I'm going to bring in some embossing powder. This is some Ranger White embossing powder. Now, this is the lazy way of doing this. I kind of was being very careful adding in this embossing powder over top. Normally, you would want to probably mask off each portion as you were doing your heat embossing. So in this instance, you would have stamped the Coffee and Friends first, emboss that with the gold as I'm doing here, and then do the other portion of the sentiment in the white as a separate stamping and embossing. But I was being lazy and did it this way, so as you can see, that was my method of doing it. It does work, but you just have to be careful. Here I've got my foam tape, and I'm just adding this to the back side of my paper strip here. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this off, and this will get lined up along the bottom portion of the card. And we'll also add a few sequins. These sequins are from the Crystal Clear sequins from Neat and Tangled. They are super, super pretty and perfect for adding just a nice finishing sparkly touch to this card. So that's gonna do it. I hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to stop over at my blog where you can get more information on today's release, including the other stamps that are being released today. And you can also be sure to head on over there so that you can be entered in today's giveaway. We have giveaways all week as we are showcasing new stamps each day, so be sure to keep on stopping back for more Neat and Tangled inspiration. And thanks so much for stopping by. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you again soon.